So this is part 2 of the knockout tutorial. I'm over my minutes, but for those that want to learn more, I'm going to create this video anyway, and hope that you can get more out of it than I have already done. So we just created our computable price as well as our observable meals, and so things change now dynamically on the page. So now let's say we want to add a button to add reservations. So we're going to go to our table. After the table, we're going to say button. Whatever with that stuff. Data dash bind, and we're going to bind it on the click. So when this clicks, we're going to call a function called add reservation. Okay, and this button is going to be called reserve another seat. So now that we have that function, we're going to go to reservations, and inside of our reservations model, we're going to have a new section where we have the operations. And this is where we're going to call our add reservation. So we have self.add reservation, and that's going to be a function with no parameters, and it's going to take the reservations. So self again refers to the reservations model. Self.reservations dot push, because it's an array, and we're going to push a new seat reservation. It's going to start with a blank name, and they're going to start with the sandwich. They can upgrade if they want to later. Alright, so now we have a function that adds reservations. Let's go and test it out. So reserve another seat, reserve another seat, reserve another seat, reserve another seat, reserve another seat. As you can see, they're all independently being watched by our knockout binders, and then these can be filled in. So for example, a lot of times you see when you fill in something and you click add another seat, this will get removed or something, but knockout's keeping track of each of our bindings. Well, that's cool, but that's not it. Let's do our remove seat as well. So inside of our table, let's create another table data, and inside of the table data, let's do an href to nowhere, and we're going to data bind that as well on the click. So click, and now remember we're inside reservation, so we need to specify root because we need to get back to the view model, and we're going to call the method remove reservation, and we're going to just say remove on that link. So now inside of our reservations.js, we've got this add reservation. Let's just go one line down and do self.remove reservation. And that one is going to have a parameter because we're going to pass in the seat we want to remove, right? We can't just remove the latest one. So function, we're going to pass in the seat, and we're going to do self.reservations.remove, and we're going to remove the seat. Cool. So we'll save that. Let's go back to our table. We can see this remove link showed up, and boom, it's gone. All right, things are working pretty good. I hope you can see the benefits of Knockout and of this technology and of this app. Maybe you can see some actual use in a reservations program like we have here. But we're not done yet. Let's say we want to add up the cost of all of the reservations and their meals. So let's create a new method called self.total surcharge. And we're going to have that equal to a computed, again, because we need to observe the price of the observed meals. So we're going to declare that function. We're going to declare a variable called total, and we're going to start that at 0. And let's do a for loop. So for of our I equal to 0, I is less than this our view model dot reservations dot length, and then increment by 1. We're going to add to the total. Total plus equals self dot reservations. Again, it's a function because it's observable, and that's why we have those parentheses. We're going to take the I location, take its meal, which is another function, and take the price of that meal. And then after the for loop, we're going to return total. And that looks pretty good. Now let's have a place to put that in our index.html. So I'm going to put that just right above the button to add a new one. So I'm going to put that inside of an H3. I'm going to say total surcharge colon $, and then I'm going to do a span, and that's where I'm going to put my data bind. Data bind equals, and we're going to do the text of the span, and we're going to do total surcharge, and let's go ahead and make sure that's formatted to the 2 decimal places. Okay, so let's look. Total surcharge $21.90. Let's add another $32.38. What if we add a lobster to Joe, and it's $56.85? So that's working, but this is kind of weird, so let's remove all of them. Total surcharge $0. I don't really want to see that if there's nothing in this list. Now, if you can imagine, doing this in jQuery would be, adding an event listener and adding, making sure that when there's none in the list, that it doesn't show. Anyway, I'm going to show you how in Knockout it's a little bit easier than using jQuery. So on our H3, we're going to add a data bind. I don't know what I just did there. Data bind, and we're going to do the visible property. And it's only going to be visible if the total surcharge is greater than 0. So now if we go back to here, we refresh, let's remove these. 0, you notice it doesn't show up anymore. How simple, right? We add a seat, it shows up. Great. So there's that. Now we're about done. There's just a couple more things I want to show you. Let's say finally you need to count your reservations and you can only go up to a certain amount. So here we're going to list how many reservations we have currently operating. So we're going to do a data bind on this span inside of the parentheses. It's going to be the text, and we're going to do reservations.length. And so that'll count how many reservations we have. So we start out with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, just so you can see what I'm about to do. Again, how simple. We have a count for the number of elements in the reservations array the instant that we add a new one. So let's say that you should only be able to add 10 reservations. So on our button, we have a data bind click already, right? Well, we can add multiple bindings on one element, and we're going to have a bind on the click, and we're also going to have a bind on the enable. So this says it's only enabled if the reservations function.length is less than 10. So now when we come back to our app, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if I try to add another one, it's not letting me. So how do you like that? Now you can go through, you know, so-and-so's getting married, and here's their guest list. They can go through, select their order, and you get the total amount, and they're able to add the guest list. You know, once they're ready, we could have a button here that says save. Save calls a method inside of our view model, which calls an Ajax post method, and that information is sent to the server so that the people who are making reservations are ready for that party. And that is my tutorial. That is Knockout in a pretty simple way. I know that's long, but I hope that you enjoyed that and that you followed along. And if you have any questions, Knockout's website has a great tutorial that I used to help me make this video. So that's it.